Here we are, back, loud and proud. Back to the Gingy and Foxy NRRRL wrap. We've been away for a couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. We're back now, fresh from the flu. We've had a bit of a pandemic happen over the podcast for the last 3 weeks.
That was the longest 2 minutes
started with
silence
me.
we've had to do for ages.
Oh, God. Look, sorry, and I do apologise to our viewing audience. We probably should have put out a notice, but we don't even know how to do that. But the good thing is, I'm well, Les is well, Goffy's sort of half well, good enough to go ahead with the podcast. From what I've been told, he's got the walking man flu, and he's now gotten over that, and we're all well and healthy, and touch wood, me and Les can walk out of the studio tonight and not pick up any of Goffy's crap. So, as I said, there was it wasn't a mandated sit-down. It was purely from sickness of health.
What do you call it? The walking man flu.
The walking man flu. I think Goffy calls it the walking pneumonia, but we call it the walking man flu. It lasted approximately 2 weeks. Our last podcast, even the one before this, didn't go to air because he couldn't even cut it that night because he was that sick. So it's the first year as well that we've probably gotten through a whole season where we thought we were going to go unscathed, but we actually, all of us, in some way or other, collected the flu. So there you go. We actually took part in the wonderful flu season. And for that, our audience didn't get to see our wonderful show. So we're back, bigger, better than ever, and we are ready to go. We're going to give you 2 weeks of updates on the NRRRL, and we might even have a bit of a talk about maybe what's happening around the grounds in other competitions. We're going to cover a bit tonight. We'll talk about the knockouts maybe. We've got a bit of controversy in the corner, and then we'll also I feel a little whatever. Well, Les has got an interesting whatevers, and I'll probably back it too. But anyway, we'll get to that as well. So,
let's do it.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
We're here. We're going to finish off the season on a consistent note every week, week in, week out. We're going to be here. We're going also now. I think we didn't. Well, because the last episode didn't go to air because of the walking man flu. What we will do is we will actually Goffy may punch that up into the system at some point. But the interesting thing, there was an announcement that got made at that episode.
I can't even remember. It's been that long.
I can clearly remember. So,
what was it?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the probably second biggest major announcement from being obviously nationwide and worldwide.
Hit us with it.
The Gingy and Foxy NRRRL wrap is going to be broadcast out in Bar TV land. So Bar TV have come in now and from what I hear, bought the rights to the Gingy and Foxy NRRRL wrap, but we're going to probably make it bigger and better to move forward because we're also going to jump into the other competitions and talk about what's happening in every space we can that Bar TV cover. And
we're going to be here all night.
Yeah, well, not sort of. I mean, we're not going to cover everything. We might do one competition at a time. But Bar TV are on board, which is great for B and Les.
Good.
We one day might even get paid, which we'd look forward to. Bar TV, hit us up. We're always good for a check. But anyway, we won't claim it on tax. We'll use it as a hobby. There you go. So we're going to get right into it. We've got a couple of weeks to cover. So Les is actually going to cover round 12. And then we're going to jump into last week's round 13.
Mate, let's go. Around the grounds, Goff.
Around the grounds.
All right, let's get into it. The Tooheys new around the grounds.
The Tooheys new around the grounds. Let's get it happening, brother.
We'd love a Tooheys right
this
now.
This is Les's favourite segment.
Mate, let's go. Round 12.
I'll make an announcement after this too.
Okay.
Yep.
Round 12, mate, we saw Ballina Seagulls at home to the Tweed Coast Raiders, and the Tweed Coast Raiders coming away with a 26-16 win down there at the Seagull Stadium.
From everyone's reports, it was the upset of the round.
Yep.
I don't think anyone gave Tweed Coast Raiders a chance. Neither did Tweed Coast Raiders probably give them a chance until they jumped away to a very convincing 16-0 lead at one point. And Ballina fought back the whole way through, and they just couldn't contain them.
No, they come away with a good win there, Tweed Coast, didn't they?
And it was a good tournament. I know one person that would have been very happy, their coach.
Yeah.
Because I know the week before he wasn't very happy.
And that was a very tough loss to Northern. That was very close.
Yeah, it was.
So good bounce back there, 26-16. Mullumbimby versus Balambal, mate. This was a tight, tough game. I watched a little bit of the highlights. Mullumbimby stuck it to Balambal.
The Chris Anderson touch is actually starting to really. He's sprinkling these little magic. Chris Anderson would be like the Wayne Bennett of the NRRRL. He's sprinkling these magic dust on the Giants out there, and they're growing.
They're growing,
growing. Whatever you want to do, but
mate.
I know there's a lot of other things that grow in Mullumbimby, but it ain't
come
Giants.
From Mullumbimby within the weeks.
Well, it ain't Giants. It's Giants, but it's a different sort of joint.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
But Balambal come away 22-16.
22-16, convincing in the end.
Not very convincing, but
no, mate. I'll tell you, their second half was very convincing.
Yeah, but
Mullumbimby owned the first half, and I can 100% assure you, mate, if you ever go back and watch that game, you'll see quite clearly that Balambal really owned the second half.
All right. Murbar versus Marsh, 12-all.
Yeah, interesting. Oh, it made it 12-all.
12-all.
Yep, 12-all. There you go. One apiece.
Byron Bay versus Coogin. Byron Bay come away in a good victory here, 30-18. I think that score the game was a bit tougher than what that score come across.
I actually thought Coogin was going to run away with that game, but anyway, good work to Byron Bay. They really come back and they fought for that win, and I think at that win sort of put them back to the top of the table. So there you go.
Mate, I think big in this game. I think Todd Carney played.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure Todd Carney played.
So Todd's back.
Todd's back.
Okay, so when we say that from now, that's what we're going to say.
Todd's on. I'm pretty sure Todd's on. Todd Carney. I don't know if it was last week or the week they played.
Remember the old Walker's on? Todd's on. Carney's on.
Evans Head versus Kyogle, and Evans Head come away with a 60-0 win over Kyogle.
Yeah, and I don't think it even went the 80 minutes.
Don't think it did go the 80 minutes.
White flag went up, and Mercy Rule came out.
Big news from the Evans camp, though, and I'll get into that later.
We'll get it. That's interesting. We will get into that later, but it's a part of the next round that didn't happen in that round.
No. Lower Clarence versus Casino there at Lower, and Casino come away with a 32-18 victory over Lower Clarence.
Casino's on a roll, and we'll even talk about that again in the next round as well.
Yeah, mate. So that was our round 12 roundup. I'll
Jump
move straight into round 13. 46-10 victors over the Lower Clarence Magpies up there at Crozier Oval, Lismore.
In a mud patch.
In the mud patch.
Yeah. Pouring down rain, but I'm going to say something. The scoreline didn't indicate the effort from Lower. At half-time, it was 12-10. 12-10 at half-time.
It's a close one.
Lower had a player, now I'm not quite sure what's happened from this, and I was at this game. Lower had a player come off the field that received an elbow to the throat. I know his family were at the back and they were bloody ropeable. Look, I don't know what's come of that, but I know that there would be a player that from Marsh Brothers last weekend that would be probably worried about what happened in that if he did get cited. I don't know how the referee missed it, but I'm going to put the onus back where the onus is. The referee, you missed it. It was bad. But anyway, 46-10.
46-10 convincing win there to Marsh Brothers. We'll move on to our next game, which is the Kyogle Turkeys up against the Murwillumbah Mustangs.
Yeah.
Mate, and the Murwillumbah Mustangs come away with a 38-6 victory.
They're on a roll too. That's
over
two,
the Turkeys
two
at
on the
Turkey
run.
Town.
Yeah, 2 on the run, and I think good win to the bar up there, the Murbar boys. I think they've got an interesting end up at Murbar at the moment in one of their back rows. You might see him in this one. Ex-NRL player, Bodine Thompson.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
yeah, playing on the back row for Murwillumbah Mustangs.
I haven't seen, was it Corey Kirkham?
Yeah, but I know.
I haven't seen him for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he must be injured, mate. But Bodine Thompson's a big in.
Eugene.
But yeah, mate, they got away with that one. Murwillumbah, 38-6.
I think it was tough there for a little while.
Over Turkey Town. And I think the only try came from the young man that just crossed the line, which...
Joshy Beach.
Yeah, Big Beach. Good, mate. I'll tell you what, his form the last couple of weeks has been pretty damn good. Big Beach. So...
What do you think's happening with Kyogle?
Mate, it's a combination of a few things. I think they had a few injuries that have really affected them.
There's some big signings at the start of the year.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of hope put into that team this year. And look, I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on in Kyogle, but there was parts of the partner of that season where it wasn't a happy camp. Now, there could be a whole range of different reasons as to why, Les. We all know what football clubs are like. They're like families. Sometimes you love your family and sometimes you hate them. And that's the way things are going out of Kyogle. But anyway... they'll get through the season, mate, and I think it's going to be. They'll put this down to this season down to a very tough one, and there'll be a couple of players that have probably second guessed their intentions of going to Kyogle this year.
Okay, good win there to Murbar, 38-6. We'll move on to the Bilambil versus Byron Bay game, and Byron Bay having a Indigenous round strip on here, Benji.
Yeah, mate.
New strip, nice strip.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I'm pretty sure, I just can't remember who was the person that designed that, but
I think it might have been young Dylan Kay.
Yeah. It actually comes up pretty damn nice. In saying that, Bilambil 32-12 over the. So it's Byron's win-loss at the moment. They've been doing that for the last.
Byron Bay, good win against Coogin.
Yep.
Come out to Bilambil.
Yep. Bilambil stood up this game, and Bilambil showed everyone in the competition and the competition leaders at this point in time, we're here.
We're still here.
Yeah, we're here, and we're not going away. So credit to the Bilambil Jets and Byron Bay.
Is Todd Carney, is it?
Win-loss. Well, mate, you've called it. I'm calling it. If you've called he's in, he's in.
He played, yeah. Todd Carney was in, so there's another one.
Confirmation there from the Golfmeister.
Mate, so yeah, good win, Bilambil, 32-12 over Byron, who is a top 6 contender too. So that's a good win.
I think they lead the comp.
They lead the comp.
We'll go to that in a minute.
Go to the ladder soon.
Yep.
Mate, our next game, Coogin Hornets up against the Evans Head Bombers. And Coogin come away with a 28-12 victory.
Do you want me to tell you, there's a couple of things in this game.
Yeah.
First thing is, I know it was probably an experiment, but I'll tell you what, it was one hell of an experiment. They either go one or two ways, but watch this. It's the Caleb Zeeble show again.
Mate, he is
the biggest number 6 in the history of sixes. He's the biggest. I don't even think number 6 will fit him. But if they don't, between now and the next few weeks, go and get a number 6, mate, because he's probably at the moment the best 6 in the competition.
Oh, leave him in
by
it.
far.
Mate, a big news out of the Evans Head camp.
Yeah, mate.
Roy Bell gone with
for the season.
With a broken jaw.
Yeah, so that's not a good thing for Evans. They've had a good run over. They're still in the top 6.
Mate,
I will say that
they're still there.
They're fighting, but I will say this: you take Roy Bell out of that team, his form this year has been top class, without a doubt. His form's been top class.
Yep.
Everything's been run off the back of him, and I'm just questioning the talent below him, and I don't know what's there and what they're going to come up with, but whatever they come up with, it ain't going to be a Roy Bell.
No.
So his goal kicking in itself, that's unquestionable.
I've seen Roy go to another level that he hasn't been to for a long time.
He was fit.
He was fit, and he really took ownership of that side.
He did,
and he was leading them around the park.
Yeah, so that's a massive out. So look, I don't know what impact it's going to have on them, but anyway.
On behalf of Gingy and myself, Roy, I wish you all the best, Roy.
Yeah, brother.
Next game, mate, and it was your Dirrawongs up against the Casino RSM Cougars, and the Cougars come away 30-27 victors.
I'm going to make this statement. We started like a house on fire, but we burnt down just as quick,
mate.
So I'm just going to, mate. I'm not going to cut any corners. We were bad. Apart from the first 15 minutes, both you and me thought for the first 15 minutes, we're on. But we've got to be a team that sort of has to not rely so much on individuals. We've got to be relying on the team efforts. And we haven't had that now for the past couple of weeks. We're hot and cold. We're going through a bit of a phase at the moment. We win one, we lose one. We win one, we lose one. But in saying that, credit got to go to where credit's due. And Casino and this young man here, Waylon Cordwell, mate, he showed everyone that he's a class kid. He can, I think, as he matures, I think this kid's got some longevity in him. Casino Cougars, whatever you got to do to keep him there, keep him there. Otherwise, some clubs will snap him up, and I have no doubt that there'll be clubs looking around. The bloke with the ball, the winger, yeah, I think he's fake, but anyway.
Mate, Timmy Torrens was good too.
Yeah.
He was good on that left edge, and
he was.
I think he tore your right edge apart.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. There's a few things in this game where a couple of things happened where a couple of really big hits off the ball that never got called, and we didn't make anything of it. I got asked to put in some stuff and whatever, but I'm not about that. I mean, it's footy. If the referee sees it, they make a call. But anyway,
good win.
Congratulations to Casino, 30-27. with 3 minutes to go, they scored a try. So.
Mate, our last game, this was a tough one too. Mullumbimby up against the Tweed Coast Raiders, and Mullumbimby come away with a 30-26 win.
Yeah, up at Tweed.
Up at Tweed.
They're having a lot of trouble at home, aren't they?
They're having a lot of trouble at home, Tweed Coast.
So their coach 1 week beats the top of the table. The next week, the middle running team comes and dusts them at home. So Kydie's going to be not happy, mate. I know Kydie wasn't happy after 2 weeks ago, but he's definitely not going to be happy about that loss because that actually, he thought they were on a trajectory to keep going. But
in saying that, mate, I think Mullum, they're getting stronger and stronger week in,
I told you, it's
out,
the magic dust.
Look out for Mullum trying to get that top 6 spot.
Yeah, mate, it's the magic dust. I'll tell you now, Chris Anderson's out there sprinkling something, and whatever it is, it's working. And the Mullumbimby response to that is good. They play a bit of a different brand of footy too. They don't try and play a tough brand. They throw it around. Yeah. They you know what they do? Funny. They play an old bulldog style game. Think about Anderson, where he's come from. Mate, I'm telling you now, they do play a very bulldogish style of footy.
And the middles are strong too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. That's our roundup there for the week.
There you go.
Mate, just while we're there, I'll get into next week's games before,
you better do that,
we
mate.
Look at the ladder.
Yep. So this is round 14.
Round 14. Mawoolam.
Sorry, before you go, you're going to get into round 14 now.
Yep.
And then next week we go to round 1.
Then we go to round 1. Yep. Now, Bidgie, first team I say is home team. Mawoolam up against Ballina.
Ballina. Yeah, I just think the last 2 weeks.
They won't lose 2 in a row.
No.
Telling you now, they won't lose 2 in a row.
Definitely not. And they've had the weekend off to get over the loss.
They had a bye.
Yep. So.
Lower Clarence versus Northern United.
I don't call that game.
We're not going to call that game.
But I'll tell you one thing. It's Lower Clarence is actually this weekend hosting their 2009 Grand Final winning team over Northern United, where they won 21-20. And I would suggest the biggest grand final of the NRRRL. I haven't seen one bigger, and I'm sorry to say this, and it's fact. I have not seen a bigger crowd at any other NRRRL grand final. And you can go back, and if you don't believe me, go back and watch the footage of that grand final. It's on YouTube.
Maybe an old Group 1 one, maybe, but not.
Yeah, no, mate. It was, but that whole anyway. They're having a reunion of all the old boys that played in that team, and
they're going to come to play lower.
Mate, I'll tell you something. It doesn't matter who's playing Northern, home or away. Every team that comes up against Northern, whether Northern's coming last in the competition or first in the competition or mid ground, every team wants to beat Northern.
Yep.
So we've got to be good.
Marsh Brothers versus Bellamble.
At Bellamble? No, I'm joking. I thought I'd get you on that.
I was about to blow up then.
Look, I'm going to say Bellamble. They're on a bit of a roll. Brothers are good, very good. But I get if Bellamble can get their mojo together, and I think they will, it'll be a tough game. It'll be a close game, but I'd say Bellamble just.
I think Bellamble's turned the corner. I think, they'll win and win comfortably.
Yep, there you go.
Kyogle versus Casino. Mate, these games are always tough.
Yeah, I'm still saying Casino.
Yeah.
It's been a long year for Kyogle.
Now, this game could be interesting. Byron Bay up against the Tweed Coast Raiders.
If we're looking at the last 6 weeks, I had a bit of a stutter. So if we look at the last 6 weeks and the way that Tweed Coast have played, this weekend they're going to win.
Yeah.
Because they've had win, loss, win, loss, win. So this is the weekend for a win.
And I just think even their losses haven't been they've been low scoring losses.
They're close.
I think Tweed Coast are going to get the victory here.
At Byron.
Yep. Evans Head versus Mullumbimby at Evans.
Mate, this is going to be a lot closer than what people think, and I'm going to tell you because the Bulldog brandish of the Giants, depending how much magic dust Chris Anderson spreads on the Mullum boys and how much fight is in the dog, the Roy Bell factor may play a major factor.
I think that's going to be a huge factor.
Yep.
And I think that without Roy Bell, I don't think they're going to be able to get the chocolate, so I'm going Mullumbimby.
Yep. And that'll be good for Mullum, but it won't be great for Evans if that's the case because it just means the bottom end of the table is going to probably creep up on them. But anyway.
Mate, the ladder as it stands.
As of round 14?
As of round 14, this is what it's come up.
No, as of round 13.
On the phone, round 13.
Yep.
Ballina on top on 18 points.
Oh, there you go. I thought it was actually Byron. You're right. No, you're good. Don't double check it. I think you're right.
Byron Bay in second spot on 17.
Yep.
Balamble in third spot on 16, along with Coogin and Evans.
Both on 16.
So that takes it down to fifth spot.
So 3 teams on 16.
So 3 teams are on 16. Then you got in sixth spot, you got Marsh Brothers on 14.
Yep.
Seventh spot, you got Mawoolambar on 13. Northern in eighth spot on 12.
Yep.
Mullumbimby on ninth spot on 10. Casino in 10th spot on 9 points. Tweed Coast on 7, Kyogle on 2, and Lower on 2.
Yeah.
Mate, from 1 to 9...
1 to 9,
it's pretty tight, isn't it?
It's competition on. I mean, the last 5 weeks, this is probably an NRRRL dream, that you got 9 teams vying for a spot of your top 6 with 5 rounds to go.
Well, even throw in the 10th spot, Casino's
but
only 1 point behind that.
And I'll tell you something that's going to be interesting about that, Les, is the draw plus washouts. There are some tough games of footy in the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
There are some very tough games of footy in the next 5 weeks, and it starts this weekend.
So that's it, mate. That's the ladder. That's the roundup. That's around the grounds.
There you go. Thank you, Leslie, for your very enthralling.
That's me done. I can go home now.
Oh, well. Okay, guys, we're going to jump straight into our next segment of tonight's NRRRL Gingy and Foxy Rap. We're going to jump straight into, not around the grounds, I can tell you that. We're going to jump straight into the most exciting part of, or one of the most exciting parts, which is Controversy Corner. There's probably, we've been saying it for the last few weeks, there's not much controversy.
No, which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I know we haven't been on for the last 2 weeks, but me and you have been sitting back watching some interesting movements and things happening. There's a few things that have happened in the last 2 weeks. One of those things is every club in the competition have received their letters from the NRRRL and New South Wales Rugby League of the stand. There is a stand now that's been put out across the competition around officials' abuse, referees and touch judges in the game.
Yep.
We've been talking about it in Controversy Corner for the last 4 weeks.
Yep.
But outcomes. Here's some of your outcomes. Players, both in reserve grade and first grade.
All grades.
Yep. Have been officially wiped out of the game. Stood down, faced judiciaries, and now serving suspensions. And I'm not talking 1 week, 2 weeks. They're serving 6 weeks. Some people are serving 4 weeks, depending on the severity of what's happened. And I'm talking about players. We've also got that now flowing over to coaches. Coaches have been put on notice. We had an interesting watch a couple of weeks ago of one of the I'm going to be honest, I thought I was one of the most animated coaches you could ever get on the sideline, both from a boisterous point of view and also...
beating you.
Yeah, mate, the Coogin, not the Coogin coach, sorry, the Tweed Seagulls coach, Mr. Field.
Oh, wow.
Very colourful, very entertaining. And,
I missed that.
Oh, mate, it wasn't great.
Was that in the game against...
Northern.
Oh,
yeah. So I think I do know that there was some chatter from the referees, and I know that there's been. I don't know if there's anything been put in place, but I do know that there's been a significant shift in the coaching space from referees and officials, and I think there's things being dealt with, and it's not a good thing to happen in the game. Yes, we can yell and rant and whatever, but we can't cross the line. It's as simple as that, and I'm always reminded of that constantly by people like yourself, and. It's now gone from there to one step further. We've actually had supporters from different clubs across the competition that have been wiped out of the game for the rest of the season for pretty serious abuse towards referees, touch judges, match officials. Those things have been raised in the last 2 weeks since we've been off air, and I can definitely tell you. They've gone all the way to judiciary level, both at junior and senior levels.
Yep.
And there are a number of supporters now that are sitting out of supporting their clubs and possibly their partners, their children, or and their mates for the rest of the season. They've been wiped out. And you know what?
Good.
It's controversial, but I applaud the stance.
Yep.
I think it's and look, we can try and do the best we can do as a coach and a player and an official, but this is a standard blanket rule now across the competition. So I would suggest that if anyone, particularly those 9 teams or even any team in the competition, if you want to support your team for the rest of the season and you're a supporter,
do it the right way.
Do it the right way.
Yep.
We don't need to cross the line and become abusive. The same from a coaching perspective, the same, and definitely from a player perspective. And I would definitely say now, if you're a player and you have something that you don't agree with on the field, you need to rethink that first drink, because I'll tell you right now, there's a whole bunch of players sitting out of the competition right now as we speak.
Mate, I don't mind a bit of banter, but when people start personally attacking or going for someone, that's when it's a big no-no for me. Like, barrack and sing out and say whatever you want for your team, but don't personally attack anyone. Like, just they're out there trying to play footy or referee a game. You know, they're trying their best. They're out there having a dig. Just get in and enjoy it.
As I said, my stance this year, and people will probably be shocked in this, I'm not. My stance this year is I'm fully supportive of what the officials are doing in the game.
Yes, me too.
And listen, I'm a person. Everyone knows. Everyone out there in podcast land, you know, I coach. Do I agree with every decision that's made? No. Do I have to? Do I become abusive because of that? I do, but I try and do it to myself. And I will never cross that line where I'm going to attack a match official.
No.
At the end of the day, it's rugby league. We're all human, and we've all got to bite the bullet. And you know, it's a game. At the end of the day, too, we've got to remember that.
Yeah, mate. We need our refs. We need them. We need our officials. So the more we protect them, the better. Yeah,
definitely. Probably the only other piece of controversy outside of that was obviously the podcast not being on for the last 2 weeks. That was pretty controversial. My phone was off the Richter.
It's the walking.
But when I hated going downtown, particularly in Lismore, to the square, and down into, you know, walking around down there and
where's the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. And then I've had other people that have emailed me and asked if the podcast was back on. So long story short, everyone, we're back, and we're all better. So that's good. So that's it. Controversy corner. Yeah, that's it. I haven't got anything unless you've got anything.
No.
Got anything from our media manager? Controversial?
Yes. Wait, that's at the bottom. My cameraman who abused the referee on camera, who was dealt with by the group.
Hang on there. Breaking news. One of the official cameramen at a game became abusive towards a match official and has officially been stood down. Well, I'm going to stand him down now. It's been brought to the competition's attention.
By the president, who got a very nasty email and was told to pull his head in and keep his comments to himself.
So there you go. A letter was received. The video person has been told to pull his head in, keep his comments to himself, because just remember, you can't go anywhere these days. We're mic'd up. So, you know. Yeah, so there you go. So, yeah, what's your P's and Q's? Video people? There you go. Do we call it video these days? Or what do we call it? Cameraman?
Camera crew. Cameraman.
Camera crew. Anyway.
Videographer. There you go.
I'm not doing any ography.
Can you spell that for me?
No, I don't do anything to do with ography. And that is, I'm just being right out there, and I would stick to video cameraman. I'm sticking clearly to that.
That's it, mate. That's Controversy Corner.
There you go, and that's done and dusted for this segment. Look at this, we're going right on. But
mate,
now I'm going to pass it over to you, because we're now doing the whatevs.
Beautiful. Here we are, mate, with our whatevs.
Over to you, Big Fox.
Mate, I don't even have any whatevs.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Mate. My whatevs.
Just say it.
Yes.
I don't care. Put me on the spot.
My whatevs is, what is going on with Northern United?
Yep.
Seriously.
Yeah. Well, mate, look.
Mate, star-studded lineup.
Is that what you call it?
Yep. I'm going to call it that.
So, you know, like at night.
Mate, they had a couple of players out, but still, welcome back they welcomed back Hakeem Torrens, who played first grade last year.
Yeah, he came back in this week. Came back in on the weekend.
Yep.
But he had one training session.
One train session
with us. Yeah, like he's been playing down in Newcastle.
Mate, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm going to call.
They've been bad. Lately.
Well, you've mentioned it. I'm going to just throw it out there. You've mentioned straight at the start the star-studded, whatever you want to call that. I'm just going to say at the moment, like the weather that we've been having, it's been cloudy, it's been gloomy, drizzly, and very rarely you see the
washout
stars. Stars, I'm talking about.
Stars.
Okay, so that's exactly what it's like for me. I mean, look, I've had blokes coming in and out of this squad all season. I haven't been able to do something that I did last year, which is consistency. And every team, particularly ones at the top of the table, I can guarantee that anyone that's 4 or above, every week they've had the consistency of players. They've had a good run with injuries. We haven't had such a good run with injuries, and I'm not making excuses here. But
Bale has been struggling too with
but
injuries.
Performance. You need consistency, not just in games. You need consistency week in, week out, training-wise, and it's been disruptive. It's been one of those seasons, and it's shown in results. I'm not going to walk away from it either. Look, we need to own what's going on in the club. From a coaching point of view, it's hard for me at the moment. I'm managing not just what happens week to week training-wise. I'm also managing what's happening outside, and we've got to, that's part and parcel of coaching footy. But, mate, we're bad. It's as simple as that. And the responsibility and the onus now goes back on myself and the playing group. And I'm happy to put my head on the chopping block too. If we can't succeed between now and the end of the season, if I was the board, I'd get rid of me.
Mate, how many games to go?
5.
5 games to go. Let's see if they can turn it around.
Yeah, mate, we've got 5 weeks to really do one or two things. We've got 5 weeks to see if we just can make the 6. Would be an achievement in itself. And anything outside, that's a bonus. And that's the mentality that we're taking. But I agree with you, mate. Is it a whatevs moment? Bloody oath it is. I struggle week in, week out to put my finger on it. But you tell me, you text me and ring me every week going, Benji. And I listen to everything you say, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. And
the positive thing for Northern is there's 5 games to go, and you're only 4 points out of the top 4.
Well, we're 2 points off 6.
Off fourth spot too. So
so
they're on 16 points.
Yeah, the competition. Funnily enough, what's happened with the washouts though is the competition 1 to 6 or 1 to 8 or 1 to 9, like you said earlier, has meant that there's been a bit of a loghead, a log jam there, and that as again, if I was the NRRRL right now and I was Mark Harrison, I'd be going, oh, how good's this? That means that everyone between now and the next 5 weeks will come out and the games are going to be big.
Well, they're all fighting for a spot.
Everyone's fighting for a spot from 1 to 9.
Yep.
So, week in, week out now, you're going to get great footy, which is great for the supporters, great for the competition, great for Bar TV and ratings. But we know one thing, if there's anything about Bar TV and ratings, it's going through the roof now because we're going to be on it. So there you go. Watch the ratings in Bar TV just skyrocket.
So
because the Gingy and the Fox is there. Anyway.
That's my whatevs, mate.
Oh, yeah, okay. Did you see me try and rotate that back the other way because you sort of put me in the spot a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll get back to my whatevs moment. My whatevs moment, which I thought I wrote down. My whatevs moment is this week. This week's a special week around the country.
Yep.
It's NAIDOC week. So for those people that don't know, National Aboriginal Islander Day of Celebration. Because everyone goes to me, Chris, what's NAIDOC week? So that's what NAIDOC week is, okay? It's a week of celebration for not Indigenous people. Guys, just let me tell you this. NAIDOC week is about celebrating First Nations people with every Australian.
Everyone.
So, and me and Les, we will tell you firsthand, like, we can both say this because we come from mixed heritage. So for us, NAIDOC week is about celebrating our culture with everyone's culture and being not accepted, but feeling as one Australia. So that's what it's about for me anyway. So we invite anyone and everyone to be a part of any NAIDOC celebration around the NRRRL traps, from Tweed to Grafton, out to the Western Bundjalung, out there in Casino and Tabulum and Mully and those areas, right back up to southeast Queensland. So if you know that there's something going on between now and the weekend,
yep,
get out there. If you've never been to a NAIDOC event, make it a point. This year you're going to do one NRRRL event. And if you do that one NRRRL event, I will guarantee it will enlighten you into a whole, gamut of what it's like, for us as Indigenous people in the country and what we want to share.
Mixed things, different things, not just all
one
I went
to I think Nunja Jarjums. I'll give them a bit of a plug.
Yeah,
they had a day up here for our kids.
Yep.
Day of celebration, fun, and mate, and they had stalls, service providers,
food,
sausages.
No,
I'll tell you one thing.
You missed out. You got there too late, mate. There was pumpkin soup. There was...
What was it again?
Pumpkin soup.
What's that?
Pumpkin soup.
Pumpkin. So the American pumpkin.
What I mean.
Yeah, okay,
pumpkin soup.
Pumpkin soup. I'm going around to Les after the podcast. I'm going to have some pumpkin soup.
Oh. It was beautiful anyway. So.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I missed out on that. Guess what I had?
What?
Sausages.
Yeah.
I always look to know. This is what my biggest thing about. I said this to my family. I said, guess what it is next week? And they're going, yeah, we know, Pop. What is it? They said no week. I said, no, it's sausage week. Because everywhere you go, there's sausage sandwiches.
You missed out.
So
there you go.
So we had pumpkin soup. Plenty of curry. It is curry week. It is curry week out there. You will get everywhere you'll go. You'll see curry, damper, and scones. Won't you, Les?
Yep.
If you love curry, damper, and scones, get to a NRRRL event. Yep. Well, the schools have it a week before, obviously, because that's just
some schools have it a week before, some will have it when they go
a week
back.
after. Yeah, I've got a couple of events I'm attending the week after school goes back. So that's my whatevs moment. Is for anyone out there in the NRRRL land, podcast land, get yourself to a NRRRL event. It's free.
There's always something happening around the area. So have
and
a look.
If you see us there,
Ballina,
come up and say hello. Come up and tell us. Yeah, do all that. So that's my whatevs moment. The NRRRL week.
Beautiful. Good stuff.
So there you go.
While we're talking about NRRRL week, Benji, I want to give a shout out to all those clubs that have put Indigenous gear
100%.
on this week. So
Someone
we saw
said,
Byron.
Going to let you go.
We saw Byron.
Yep.
There.
Casino.
Looked really good. Casino's
was actually pretty damn good.
Marsh Brothers
had some jerseys. Yep.
Northern will have theirs every week on their jersey.
So just for those people out there, before you ask Northern United and before you ask, we do know that it has an Indigenous flavour to it. Someone come up and said to me,
"Where's yours?
Where's your jerseys at, Benji?" And I said, "We wear it every week."
Every week.
And if you have a look at the Northern jerseys, it's actually celebrated every week. So for us, so for those people who ask the questions about Northern, that's where it's at. So
it's good to see all those other clubs embracing it and wearing them. So
so well done. It's a bit like the Indigenous round.
Yeah.
We are going to work on a concept after this year with the NRRRL, which I'm happy to talk about. We're actually looking to have bring back the All Stars concept, whether it's at an under-20s version or whether it's an whole of competition. I think I like the whole of competition version because it gives an older bloke an opportunity to come back and play as well. But we're going to try and work with the NRRRL moving forward to bring back the All Stars game for the NRRRL in 2025. That's on the cards. I'll be definitely a big fan of that one.
Is that the old Timber Cup?
Well, we can call it the Timber Cup, but we will call it the All Stars Timber Cup.
Is it the old Timber Cup?
Yes. So it's where the best of the best and are playing each other. Similar format to the Indigenous All Stars game that the NRL have. The only difference, it'll be a non-Indigenous team and an Indigenous team. And it's not about black and white. It's about everyone having a game, and it's a fun thing. It's creating a different flavour. And you know what? There's a good opportunity to have it on Splendor weekend because there is no footy on that weekend. So
I'd like to see it in every grade too.
Every grade, 18s right through. Women
reserve first. Why not do all our grades?
There you go. I'll raise that with the NRRRL as well. But please, the NRRRL board, take heed of what we're saying. It's a good concept. It's a good promotional mechanism for the NRRRL. And we want to try and see if we can get our hands on all over that next year. And I'll have a chat to our media manager, and we might even have some coverage on that as well. So when I say coverage, not just from Bar TV perspective, but coverage in relation to attract some good sponsorship towards it. There you go. That's another whatevs.
That's our whatevs. Beautiful.
So thank you for that, guys, and we're going to jump straight out of the whatevs into.
I'm going to talk about something that you don't want to talk about because I haven't seen you for a while.
You've already hit me.
The Mighty Blues, mate. Game 2.
Yeah.
What about that first half?
Did we cover that in the last podcast?
No, we didn't. We haven't been here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What are we talking about?
The Blues. How good were they?
In what, game 2?
Yep.
Yeah. Credit goes to credit where credit's due. But you played pretty good.
You said they were going to get beat and beat comfortably.
Well, mate, to be totally honest, the first half, you guys just jumped out of the blocks and basically. But I think if you remember, and I said this on the podcast before, if you can clearly remember, I said that we never play well in Melbourne.
It doesn't matter.
We haven't won a game in Melbourne for 9 years.
That doesn't matter.
So, every game that we've had in Melbourne, bar one, has all been New South Wales victories. But guess what happens? And this is a true and accurate.
You're going to talk about the game.
Every time there's been a game 3 post a Melbourne game up in Queensland, as much as you hate to hear this, New South Wales supporters, Queensland's won it.
He's panicked and threw Cobbo back in for game 3.
Gay guy.
Gay guy.
Yeah.
We threw bloody that idiot in from Newcastle with a bloke with a friggin' hamstring injury.
You settle down, mate. We need Knights players in our team.
Well, it isn't like I know you're raising these issues now, but next week we'll do a whole wrap on the Origin.
I just wish we had the game where both teams were fully fit.
We're gonna, and just so for our podcast viewers, we will be live on Monday.
No, we won't be.
Not be Monday. What night for you?
It's going to have to be after Origin.
Thursday.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, stay tuned.
Where are you going?
Hey guys, whoa, this is the podcast. This isn't personal. Who's doing what? Okay, wind that off and you can cut that out, Goffy, please. But let's get back onto it.
Yep.
We're going to jump out of the whatevs and we're now going to
Origin.
To
game 3.
Game 3. We're doing that now, are we?
Yep.
Okay, so let's have it.
I won't let you sook about game 2. Let's just
tell me.
game 3.
So that being said, where do you see Origin?
Mate,
You've
it's going to be a good game.
You've had some forced changes. Now, one of the biggest forced changes is.
I wish both teams.
Listen.
I wish both teams were fully fit.
And I reckon what's going to. You watch what, and I mark my words on this, viewers.
We're going to say we lost.
If you get beat, and it's because of Latrell, you watch your Blues supporters turn on Trell. If he comes out and plays the week after, for Souths.
Well, he needs surgery.
No, he doesn't. It's on today. If you read, you got to.
Yeah, they don't need it anymore.
Doesn't need it, mate. No.
Put him back in.
Well, no. Look, anyway, so you got no Trell Mitt. You've brought in a bloke with a hamstring injury. That's not 100% going into a big game. Well done, New South Wales, by the way, in doing that. You've got a 5'8" sitting standby for him to play in the centres. He's played 5'8" for the last 2 years, and everyone goes, yeah, but he's a good centre. If you've played 5'8" for 2 years in a row and you're trying to bring him in to play in the centres, good luck with that. Defensively, I'm talking about. The workload's heavier.
That's the main problem.
Yeah, the workload's heavier. So you've made some changes.
I think pick a centre.
I think we've made the biggest change ever. I didn't think this was going to happen, and I'm just going to state the obvious. I had no idea after 1 week you'd bring Kalen Ponga back into a Queensland side.
That was huge.
That's a massive call. Match fitness, all that sort of stuff. I'm not saying that he wasn't training while he was out injured, but on the back of one game, and
Mitchell Moses done the same.
But I'll tell you what I do like about it. This is what I like about it. If I'm a New South Wales supporter, I'm worried because you've got Walsh on one edge, and the minute they put Ponga on, you're going to have Walsh on one edge, you're going to have Ponga on the other. You guys aren't going to know which way to look or what's coming at you because they will manoeuvre. God forbid if they actually come together at any point in the game, because then you're in real trouble. Because deceptively both very good with ball in hand.
But I think that's going to come back to you if your middles stand up too.
Here's one. Everyone's probably thinking they're going to
middles have been struggling.
But listen,
your middles struggled.
I'm going to give you. I'm just going to throw the Queensland coaching hat on. I'm bringing Ponga into the game. 30 to 20, 25, 30 minutes in, first half, I'm throwing him to 13.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Throwing him 13.
Yeah, good call.
And he will ball play his ass off.
Okay.
And you will not manage it.
That won't happen.
Are we going to put money on it?
No.
Can we just put $10 on it?
I don't gamble.
Can we put $5? Oh, well, sorry, Mr. I'm Responsible Gambler. My name's Nathan Hindmarsh. Seriously, $5.
Anyways, I think you need
$5
to win. I think you really need to win the middle battle first.
We'll win the middle battle.
Because they got
we're good in
the second game.
I'm confident with our middle. In saying that too, I think Dane Gagai isn't. You watch him, he'll rise. He'll rise to another level.
Let's wait and
Age
see.
shall not weary them, nor shall the years condemn.
I reckon he's going to get found out.
Lest we forget Dane.
All right.
Because I'll never forget what you've
Cool.
done for our team.
That's our origin.
Anyway,
chat.
that's our origin. So Les is get the shits now, so we'll move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
The big fella's blowing and have a look at him. Go to camera. Look at him.
I can't believe I have to sit there and listen to that crap.
Anyway,
5 minutes.
you raised it. Anyway, so let's move on.
No talk of how good Game 2 was. Just straight into Game 3.
Mate, just probably want to talk about one more thing before we move on to that last episode. What do you think about the Parramatta announcement?
What was that? I missed it.
The coach,
I haven't heard.
Jason Rolls.
Is he coaching?
Jason Rolls has taken
New
on the job
coach?
for Parramatta. And there's a certain player who's absolutely crapping himself because he doesn't even know if he'll be retained.
Who's that?
Queen Gutho.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, apparently. And I'll tell you what, if I was Jason Rolls and I was coming into that club, I'd get rid of him straight away.
Is Zach Lomax still going?
Well, he is now.
He is.
Yeah, Rolls, he's ex-Dragons boy, remember?
Oh.
Yeah, so.
There you go.
So there you go. Jason Rolls has now been announced the coach of the Parramatta Eels. And the deal, has been done.
4 years, is it, Goff?
4 years.
4 years.
It'll take him 4 years to unravel that mess. And the only thing I'll say, Rosie, I hope you watch the podcast, and I'm just going to say it for a reason. Good luck with that Parramatta board because they're an absolute nightmare, is all I'll say.
Beautiful.
So that's another announcement on the podcast tonight. There you go. Hot off the press.
Yeah. Shout-outs.
Shout-outs. Let's jump to it. I'm going to do the first one. So, and I've been placed on notice by my 2 middle grandchildren that when I do a shout-out, I'm not allowed to shout out to one grandchild anymore.
Which is fair enough.
So, big shout-out to Charlie, Lani, and Elle out there in Weewar. Another big shout-out to Tanner, Evander, and Hattie. And the biggest shout-out to my little man, Bray. So, there's all my 7 grandkids. Oi, there you go. So, big shout-out to all my little grannies. Love is all. And there you go. I haven't forgot any of this. And I have got 7.
I want to give a shout out to our main podcast fan, Tony Buchanan, and his little fella Clay.
You know what?
I ran into him today.
Do you know what?
Getting a haircut.
He's been going through withdrawals.
He's been rebel. What's been going on with the podcast?
I thought, you know what? I thought he was going to come down here and knock on Goffy's door and go, mate, if they're not doing it, I will. But he would have got a shock because the person would have walked out there with the walking man flu. Anyway, so that's my shout out. Outside of that, I'm just praying with every ounce of energy left in me that, you know, we turn the next 5 weeks around as well. So shout out to my playing group. Get your shit together, boys.
Double.
Okay,
Double
so where are you? You shouting out to anyone?
That's me.
I'm going to make, it's not a shout out, I'll make it out. Les is going to the in-laws this weekend. You ready for that, brother?
Yep.
All good?
Ready to go.
You gotta get a
Big,
haircut.
long trip.
Do you need to get a haircut and have a shave before you
Had a
leave?
haircut?
So you go, do you need a shave before you go?
Yeah, I'll have a shave before I go.
Matty, this is a shout out to Matty. Matty, can you please make sure that you look after Les with your family? I'm worried about the big man. If it gets too much for you, mate, just ring me up. I'll come down. Just put him out on the highway. I'll pick him up. There you go.
Nah, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have a great time. It's a 13,
Before we go,
13-hour
before we go, I am so excited. This is the biggest announcement of podcasts for 2024.
Okay, what is it?
So, we're now on countdown. We are now on countdown.
For
2 weeks.
Yep.
In 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks.
Yeah, we hit the first of what?
We hit the first of what?
August.
Yep.
What happens then?
Don't know.
Beer o'clock for the binge.
Oh, you're allowed to have a beer, eh?
Yeah, I'm off the medication. So you'll actually see my a whole energy level snow dive because
So,
I'll be
Goff,
back.
can we line up some
Yeah, well,
tours?
we need some sponsorship, Goffy. You've got 2.5 weeks to organise sponsorship from either TUI's,
Goff's been saving cash because you've been off the
Forex.
off the
I do like a blackfish, or actually I do like a whitefish. When I do come back, I'm coming back full strength. I'm not coming back as the mid-strength Benji. I will be going full or none. So anyone that's out there in podcast land, when you see me post the 1st of August, shout the Benji beer. There you go. Whitefish preferably.
That was a huge announcement.
I'll tell you, mate, it was the biggest announcement of the season.
Mate, let's get it. Merch.
Oh, yep, merch. What's happening?
You've got to buy some merch. Look.
Where's the pink shirts at, Goffy?
How good? How good is the Gingy and Foxy shirts? Like, get them.
Can you just go to Foxy and I want to get a pink shirt. I'm going to put a pink shirt on and wear it in the merch set. No, we'll get the next podcast, Goffy, I want a pink shirt and we'll get the pink merch out.
I've lost my merch sheet.
We lost the merch sheet. But here we go. Before we go, we've got a whole range of merch. In that merch, you've got stubby holders, you've got shirts, you've got mouse pads, all wonderful merch that we've got branded out. We'll get
stubby holders.
Well, I just said that.
Mugs.
Well, that's it. I didn't mention the mugs. So we've got coffee mugs, and all those things will be up next week. We'll get it all back up. We're a bit behind. Here we go. Look, there you go. And there's the merch. That's it, mate. That's it. There you go.
We haven't showed the coffee mugs
yet. The coffee mugs are out. The coffee mugs are out. Get your merch. Here he goes. And it's the pink one.
Oh, I
there
like
you go.
the pink.
Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. The
I like that pink one.
Gingy and Foxy coffee mug.
How good is that?
Oh, there you go. Wrong way. There you go.
The pink ones.
The pink
cool.
ones. There you go. Look at that. When you're having a coffee in your morning.
You get to look at Gingy and the Fox.
No, there you go. Oh, God, I hate this camera. There you go. The Gingy and the Fox, and you can have a coffee on us. There you go. So there's the coffee mugs, ladies and gentlemen, all branded up.
We'll get the price list up
we'll get
at
the
the end
price
of the
list,
podcast.
Yep, and the end of the podcast, the Goff will do a price list of what's going and get it while it's hot, as we say.
Remember, he's gone mad. He's slashed
Everything. It's all gone. So there you go. That's the merch. They're the coffee mugs.
Cool. I think that might be us, mate.
That's it, mate. We're back.
We're back.
Bigger, better, and we're good for the rest of the season, guys. We are not the Walking Dead.
So that's it. That's us. That's a wrap, mate.
That's a wrap. And we'll see you next week.